The hang handstand split warm-up is a great way to prep your body for heavier workouts and condition your body for gymnastic strength. If you want to develop a good handstand line and the ability to kick up into a nice handstand as well as warm your body up, this is great. So I do this every day. You might find this takes a little bit long for your warm-up, so you may do it maybe a couple of times a week or use it as a workout in and of itself. But I like, in the classes, in the group sessions, we start every session with this. So we've got the dead hang off the bar. Now ideally you have a bar that you can dead hang off where you hang straight and not touch. This bar's a little bit low for me because my toes still touch when I point. But if I stretch my heels out, then I'll get a better stretch there. Now when you're starting out, you might want to touch the ground. You're trying to keep the ribs in, traction out, look up at that bar and make your body as straight as possible, keeping the ribs in and really relax. That's going to help you get better shoulder mobility, and it's the easiest way to get those shoulders to open up into a nice strict line for your handstand, as well as being great for your back, connective tissue of the shoulder. So that nice dead hang. Now if you've got a lower bar, that's fine. You just hold on and just curl the legs. Make sure you don't cross the legs, just curl and traction out. It isn't as ideal just because the hip flexors can be a bit engaged, so you want to try and tuck the butt under and just curl with the hamstring rather than flexing at the hip. Then we're going to go into feet to hands. So in this position here, I'm in a bridge here, and then I'm shrugging. Every time I shrug, I take a step. Now as I come up, that's going to get higher. I keep the elbows locked and keep the knees locked and walk it in. So you may only get to here, shrug there, and then have to shrug back. The goal is to get further and further, further, really trying to open the shoulders up as much as you can, get the butt up as high as you can, and really prep your body for that press to handstand position, and walk it back. And you want to feel the serratus anterior, the muscle that attaches to the first 9 ribs and the shoulder blade. Push your shoulder blades around on all those different angles. Really prep that, get strong there and get that awareness. Keep the elbows locked. Then we go into a left side split, just warming it up. Gonna reach forward, drive the hip back, drive the knee over the toe, stretch that adductor out, and just pump out some reps. So that's 30 seconds worth. And just get the heart rate up, really try and get blood flow into the connective tissue, into the joints, which isn't easy, but the more you move things, the better those tissues are going to be if you move with good form. So coming right down, really squeezing in here, trying to get that adductor to open up, reaching forward, staying upright. So 30 seconds each leg. Then we're going to go into a hang shrug. Now this one you want to traction right out into that dead hang position, shrug up straight. Now if you want more of a stretch, you can do the underhand grip. So it's going to stretch your lats more. It's a bit more advanced. That's going to give you a better overhead position in the long run. You can also shrug left to right, back, forward, circular. There's progressions on it. When you start out though, just stick to the straight shrug. Really nail that. Try and feel your body stretch every time you hit the bottom. Now we go into hands to feet, so it's a reverse. So we're warming up the shoulders. And a shrug, step, shrug, step, shrug, step, shrug, step. Really get as high as you can with the butt. Try and lock the knees out. Press yourself up. And walk it back out. So taking your time, really trying to feel the shoulder blades. Step and shrug. Warming all of that up. Then we go into the front split warm up. This is going to warm up that deep lunge. So you're getting a nice deep position. When you come down, you're going to stretch that hip flexor out. So you bottom out, drive the knee forward, mobilize the ankle. You may be up here, it's okay. You want to work towards getting that hamstring and calf together. Now to stretch this hip flexor out, just squeeze that glute. Tuck that butt under, bring the arms up. Then we're going to stretch out the back calf stretch out the front hamstring. You draw that quad up, hinge forward, breathe in and breathe out. And you might do 3 to 5 reps to really get warm through there. Change sides and mirror it. Breathe in, breathing out. So you want to try and feel that hip flexor open up by squeezing that glute, shrugging up, exhale. Hitting 3 to 5 reps, draw that quad up, stretch out, and you can stretch that back heel out as well. There's a lot going on, so don't go too hard with it too soon in the sense that you get overwhelmed by doing all the little things. Just chip away at it and improve your technique over time. Then we go into a hollow arch round. So I'm in the rings, in a dead hang, but hollowed forward. So I've got the butt tucked under. I'm going to breathe in as I straighten the legs, turn the rings out and open up. Stay breathing. I go into that sissy position, come back, chin in, exhale, inhale, exhale. And just do 3 to 5 reps of those. So that's the pulling movement. Then I'm going into the push of that. So I'm in the down dog position. Now here when I'm doing this, I want to get a nice strict line from the hips, a nice right angle or more from the hips, ankles, hips, and then to the hands. Pull, want to pull the ribs in and shrug the shoulders up, get a nice strict line. Then I'm going to breathe in, coming up into that bridge, and extend back. Then I can repeat that in reverse, chin comes in, and push back. Some other more advanced ones are that you arch forward, so you look up with the eyes, arch forward, and then do that same one going back, hollow back, raise up onto the toes, and then reverse that. Hollow forward, and then I'm going to arch back, and then straighten out. Then I'm going into the hip hinges. Now if you're really tight in the hamstrings and you find those really hard, like getting that hip hinge going, this is a great exercise to do every day. You just want to draw the quads up and you're going to hinge in your hip. So you're not moving the spine, you keep extension there. So you may only be getting to there before you get a pull, and you're going to step wider. If you want to make it heavier, come down, and this is just hip back disassociation. Then pause, and then go wider, drive the butt back. Go like that. You can do the hollow arch version if you've got a good hip hinge, no lower back pain, and your focus is just to, you've already got decent hamstring length, but you want to feel more of a flow with it. Then from here you can arch down, hollow up. That's trailing with the head. Then you're going to hollow down, leading with the head, arch up. And then one more, arch. And you could do 3 to 5 reps, so progressively getting wider or going wider and then coming back in. But the goal of that is to feel that hip hinge primarily, and then you can get into the integration of the spinal flexion extension, the wave and the whip. Then we've got a hang split. This one you may have to keep one leg on the ground as a starter. So something like this, you might not go too high, otherwise you're lifting off. The aim is to get 15 seconds per leg. Now, when you advance that, you're going to hold it and you're going to try to get as long as you can and get that toe up to the bar. So you want to make sure you've got the knees locked, toes pointed, and then you're coming up. That's heavy to hold for 15 seconds. Other side. And doing that, the full 15 seconds on that's pretty nasty to hold it right up there, but you might, wherever you hold doesn't matter, just want to work towards that, trying to keep the shoulders open. You will find you want to use the lat a little bit like I did, where the hips start to come up because I'm front levering, so you want to try and keep that more open. Then we're going into the split handstand. Now the basic version of the split handstand is just a single leg down dog. So I'm going to pop my hands down. And from here I'm going to bridge. Then I'm going to press that leg up, trying to keep the hips square, drive the heel down into the ground, shrug up and feel that nice line. So you want to film these from the side so we can have a look at your hamstring length, your body alignment. And this is great prep just to get used to that position before you take that into an inversion. So you'll start up with that. Then you're going to go into a progression on that would be to use the wall. Using the wall for the handstand is a great way to improve your technique and get good awareness, and as well as making it very safe. So I'm going to come down. Now the ideal distance for your hands from the wall is the length of that leg when it's locked out at the knee with the heel touching the wall. That way you've got a good position to anchor yourself so you can get nice and comfortable and focus on just getting good alignment. So I'm going to pop my foot up. From here I do the left side first and come up, come out. Now I want to just use, I can use the calf raise to just find where that point is. Lock the elbows out, keep the ribs in. Now if you're still touching, that's fine. And then work towards coming off. If you feel unstable, just keep the foot flat, lock out, and try and pull the ribs in. Stretch that hip flexor out. Just get nice and comfortable when you come back down. Nice and soft, simple dismount. So only one foot touches the wall. It's super safe. You can't fall anywhere if you keep that foot anchored. And you're getting used to the kick up position, that nice hip hinge, and you're also getting that shape, getting the alignment, getting the shoulders stacked. Then you do the right leg, same start, stretch that out, and it's really important to get both sides to feel the same. Lock the elbows, and you can just play around with getting the balance in the hands, that beginning where you're shifting the weight between here and here. So you want to keep the hands flat, retract the pads of the fingers back, keeping those first knuckles down, and you're trying to keep the weight in the palm. So you're trying to work that and keep it balanced. And that's all it is, because really in a handstand it's harder to fall left or right, but the main challenge is keeping the weight centered. So keeping it here. If you go too much into the heel, you're going to fall back that way. If you go over, you're overbalancing. It's very hard on the forearm. So you're just trying to keep it there. So it's the same as if you stand. So if I try and stand on the heels, it's harder to balance. So you don't want to be on the heel of the palm. And if I'm too far over, I can balance, but it's hard work. I can feel my calves working, I feel my feet working. And if I look at my toes, when I do that, the pads of the toes will pull back. And that's what we want to train to feel stronger there, is to pull those pads back to get that feeling in the handstand. So using that's a great way to get started. I really encourage people to nail that, get their form down with that, film it from the side. Want to see that hamstring flexibility to hit a nice position. If you can't get a nice 90 position there with your hips, you're going to find it really hard to kick up. You're going to have to work against tight hamstrings. And if you can't get the shoulders stacked over the wrist and the hips, that nice line, you're going to work against that shoulder mobility to try and kick up. And you're going to find it really hard to not arch your back and get this banana shaped handstand. And you're going to overuse your lower back. You're not going to open up in the shoulders. So I find this is a really good prerequisite before you move on to kicking up to the wall or doing any other type of handstand. And I find it's really safe. There's nowhere you can fall if you just step into it, and you learn to step down comfortably, and that preps you for getting a nice kick up. So the progression on that would just be to get that handstand with a kick up. If you've got that, you've been doing the hands to feet, the feet to hand drills, you've got that good flexibility there. You've been doing the hang splits, you've got good awareness and control. You can put the pressure into your hand, and it's just a light kick. You want to come out a little bit just so you can split better. And push up, and you're going into that same shape that I was doing with the wall. Then when I come down, that's a nice soft dismount. Now, nail the other one, and that's super easy. I just see so many people trying to do a handstand before they can get a nice position, and they make it so much harder than what it needs to be. If they just condition the tissues, condition the mobility, the hamstrings, comes a lot easier. The last one in the warm-up is just the single leg bend. So you're hinging in the hip, and what you're doing here is squeezing this glute, and squeezing this quad up to try and get as high as you can. And trying to feel that front split, 15 seconds per leg. So in this warm-up, in the split round, the hang split, the handstand split, and this split, they're all 15 seconds a leg. Really simple, effective. Draw the quad up, stretch those hamstrings out, squeeze the glute, and come back up. So film that, film it from the side. You can do a 45-degree angle so I can see other things as well. But the main thing for a lot of them is to see that side position, especially in the down dog, up dog, in the hollow arch position, in the rings, the hang split, that one, I'm going to get a lot of information there. So you can hyperlapse it, that way it's a lot quicker for me to get it through. So this one can go up to 8, 10, 12 times, because it's just the main positions that I want to be able to see, and I can just pause it there. Get into that, film it, I'll see you soon.